Hello, welcome to False Democracy. Please subscribe, like and comment, help us build this channel. I mean, a few you'll know that I've been trying to expose this global con for, last 10 years. And back then, it was pretty hard to come across the news or the truth that you wanted because it was so kind of underground. But in light of what's happened this last 6 months, more and more people are beginning to question this. But there's still a contingent of people I still can't reach. And I've always been trying to find that equivalence, that analogy that will have someone go, well, actually, now you put it like that, let me take another look at what I think I understand. Now, if you voluntarily wear the muzzle and you are welcoming a biometric vaccine, if you acquiesce to arbitrary restrictions that make absolutely no sense from your government, then I can only imagine you've done that out of fear, yeah? If you go back to April, I remember the predictions from the Johns Hopkins University that there's going to be millions of deaths, yeah? And of course, if you're hearing that information, you're going to be scared, yeah? But since then, it's been proven that them predictions was absolute bullshit at best, but a monstrous misprediction in order to instill fear in everyone. I mean, even the CDC here, the Centre for Disease Control, they came out a couple of weeks and said, 94% of deaths, they were attributed to something else. They had pre-existing conditions and therefore they would have died anyway. But at the time, they were attributed to COVID, in order to get the numbers up. Even in the tests, the originator of that test said that it's nonsense. There's so many false positives. But again, because I'm sorry to break this to you, but your government does not have your best interest at heart. And all these tests and whatever numbers they're showing, again, are skewed in a way to keep you in fear. Now, if you haphazardly believe your government narrative, that you are following all the guidelines, that you have faith that this is just a passing scenario and we will get back to normal, then what's the difference between how you process information now and go back to, say, the 1930s? Because the people in Germany believed the government narrative back then, They used propaganda against their citizens and they were threatened with their way of life being destroyed, with the economy being destroyed, amongst other things. And so, the people just assumed that the government was telling them the truth. They acquiesced, and it was only after it was too late did they realise they'd been hoodwinked. There's an exact parallel happening now. Let's just, let's take a look at the parallels. Okay, as I've mentioned, Hitler used propaganda against his citizens in order to further his agenda. And after World War II, the US put in place the Smith-Mundt Act, which made it illegal for broadcasters to show propaganda to the US citizens. I mean, that was a good thing, after what had just happened. But in 2013, the sitting president, it's not worth saying who it is because that will evoke a bipartisan argument, which again is part of the divide. That'll just get people arguing between the parties when the left and right wing belong to the same bleeding bird, and that is orchestrated from above. It is now, it was then. Okay, so since 2013, if you've been getting your news feed from whatever, if it's the papers, if it's your TV, or most likely now your news feed on your phone, you're receiving propaganda. I mean, that isn't a slur, that isn't a conjecture, that's fact, You go and Google Smith-Mundt Act repealed. I know you won't because you don't do that, You don't really think for yourself. But you've got one final chance to do it. Okay, so again, let's look at the parallels. I've said that Hitler used propaganda, they're using propaganda now. What else did he do? Well, he was quoted as saying, strip the people of their rights incrementally and they won't notice. That again is exactly what's happened here. You'd be amazed what rights have gone since 9/11. What else did he do? Well, he famously burnt the books, anything that went against his agenda, they were burnt. I mean, it's the same thing happening now. Google are suppressing videos on YouTube, they're censoring videos, they're deleting them. And not just the videos, whole pages of independent media that has an opposing view to what they're trying to promote. Why doesn't that bother you? I've shared other pieces of information like this before, and it's like, you've got to connect the dots. Everything is connected here. And again, it's like, how many scenarios do people need before they'll wake up? What else did he do? He arrested, tortured, and, killed dissidents, yeah? Again, individuals that opposed his tyranny. I mean, you probably haven't heard of Bill Cooper or Gary Webb, or maybe a few of you have heard of Jill Dando, but these lost their lives because they tried to present the truth to you. Again, why do you not care? I mean, Assange, Snowden, Manning, I mean, they're the high-profile people that were exiled, yeah? But what about the countless doctors and scientists and teachers and military and all different types of personnel who, if they haven't been eliminated, they've been ostracised. The very, the best. They will have lost their jobs. They will have lost their livelihoods. You've got to grasp that this is not about a virus. This is about a global takeover, crashing the economy so they can make a reset, yeah? I mean, again, so many parallels. It stands to reason, if you are getting your information from where you're getting it from, you would have believed the same government narrative back then. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. I'd love to hear an argument that says that that's not the case, that I'm totally mistaken. But the thing is, the people back then were fundamentally, decent human beings, but they were hoodwinked by their government, yeah? That's exactly what's happening here. You're a nice person, but you're just misinformed to the point where I don't know what it's going to take for you to grasp that this is only leading to a global tyranny, yeah? If you accept the mask now, you will accept the vaccine, then you will accept a cashless society, then you will accept a social credit score, 24-hour surveillance. I mean, the people back then, they were mortified once they found out what Hitler's true intentions were, and they had to live with that. They had to remain on that side of history, yeah? You still have the option to choose which side of history you want to be on. All I'm telling you is just think a bit deeper about this, yeah? It doesn't take 5 minutes to challenge your thoughts, just to look at a different piece of independent media. Why are they shutting up all these doctors that are telling you that, the COVID statistics are not what they're saying? Why aren't you listening to the ones that tell you that the mask is futile? Again, it's symbolic, and I'm going to do a video on that next. I'm not doing it to shame you or antagonise you. I'm doing it so you can make an educated choice that's going to impact your children and your children's children's future. I mean, I'm not sure if that made any sense. If you got any questions, please just pose them. I'll gladly answer them. Anyway, thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe and comment. And I'll see you next week.